Everyone. Welcome to the Peapod. The angels gave me a message one day that those of us who are here on earth we're all like peas in a pea pod. We really are all the same. We're part of the oneness of all that is, and a pea pod is fed by the same source as we are. Our mission right now is to shine that light out far and wide, as bright as we can shine it. And that's what we attempt to do here on the Peapod. So if you're coming in and you're finding this, welcome, welcome, and share it. Share it with somebody that could use that word today. Maybe an uplifting word of hope, of inspiration. And let's just really support each other, help each other to come home in our hearts so that we can see more goodness in the world. We can see more kindness. We can really find that love that we all are desiring and wanting in our lives. I have two beautiful people that I'm going to bring on right now. One you know well, Marbeth Dunn is my co-founder for 10 Million for World Peace. And we're always encouraging you to share and join in that mission. And then I have another special guest that's coming in today. Jon Ramer is with us from Compassion Games and SINE, and I'll let him tell you all about what all he's involved in. But if you found this, please help share it out. And then if you have any questions as we're doing the discussion, we can all see your questions and your comments. So let us know if you're enjoying it, if you have a question about something and you want more clarity, just type that in the comments and we will definitely respond to you. Thank you for being here. Now enjoy the show. Hello and welcome, welcome.
Beautiful.
I'm so happy to have you here, John and Marbeth, my darling, my soul sister. So I told everybody that this is going to be about world peace.
Mhm.
It's like these days, what else is in my world besides world peace?
Right.
So I know, John, that you are doing so much and have been for years. I met you years ago as part of SINE Network and just have enjoyed watching you flourish and watching the mission grow as you've traveled, sometimes many faraway places you've traveled to bring the message of peace and hope and inspiration. So please tell us a little bit about you and how did you get involved in world peace?
Well, the idea of peace on earth just seems like that's the only game in town, especially when that starts from within. So the best thing I could do for me is to be a force of peace in my own life and the lives of those around me that I love. They really say that war is failed diplomacy. So we need to get smarter about how we coexist. And for me, my Pearl Harbor was 9/11. I'm from New York originally. It was clear to me that things would never be the same. I couldn't stay on the sidelines. So that began a journey. And fortunately, I'm a musician by training, so I know a little bit about how to make harmony together, how to learn to listen to each other. And then the visit with the Dalai Lama in 2008 in Seattle changed everything when I met Brother Phil, Hereditary Chief Phil Lane Jr., and began working in support of the tribes and First Nations and indigenous peoples, and realized that there were lots of ways to see the world, and that the way that we brought to North America was a way to see the world, not the way to see the world. We're still trying to figure out how we coexist here, especially in these challenging times when, if we don't change our direction, we're going to wind up where we're headed. So we're doing everything we can. And I'm happy to report that we're actually making progress, that people are awakening and remembering. And that's evidenced by a show like this and your gifts and making them known and available. No longer are we rooted in just our place. We can use the technology in creative ways. But it's also a call to be more humane. I just wrote a paper. It says AI doesn't care, you do.
Mm.
AI doesn't care, you do. But these tools are unbelievable. This is like fire. We can do amazing things. It's just an AI designed enzyme that is eating plastic in 24 hours.
Wow.
And they didn't know how to do it. But AI was able to wait. Here's an end. What, really? Wow, look at that kind of moments. So there's tremendous possibility here, but
Mhm.
we have to rise, and it's our way of being. Now we got to figure out what does it really mean to be a human being, and how are we relating to each other and caring for each other. And caring is something that's uniquely humane. It's us. That's what we can do. So now I'm hopeful. The Pope just today put out a warning about AI. I'm telling you, this is one of those moments. We're living through a whole bunch of them, whether it's COVID, Donald Trump. I mean, things like totally off the charts. So this is a time that they call it VUCA. It's an act.
Mm.
V is volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. No one really knows. We are
Yeah.
in that space between worlds. That's why we're using the magic canoe, from a world no longer to a world not yet.
Yeah.
And we're looking to make that world with love and
Absolutely.
compassion.
Yeah. And I love how you mentioned that it's kind of like fire. You can do great things with fire, and you can do destructive things. So it depends on the user. It's just like when computers came to be a known thing. Computers are only as good as how they're programmed. So I think this is a system also, that how are we going to program it, and can we program it for good?
That's right. That's right. It's how we use these tools, and
Mhm.
that's why it's a very humane challenge. You'll see when you read this article, it weaves that together, and I think in an important way for us right now. A lot of people are rightfully confused, and even the people who are making it do not understand how it works. And there are very serious threats with this. Deep fakes,
Mhm.
capturing people that you think you're interacting, and now that's so smart that it knows how to gain your trust and develop intimacy. So we're living through a big change, and hopefully that is so disorienting that we remake the world. And that's why we have this one world, a place where we're uniting communities to be able to make these global synergized impacts that really do change things for the better.
I'm streaming the website, John,
Fabulous.
oneworld.earth.
We just put that article up we're talking about. And, so anyway, I'm here to serve you guys. So what can we do? Let's put your work forward. The mission that you have of 10,000 or 10 million, right?
10 million.
Let's use that as an example to show, well, how can we be better together and be supportive in making that happen? And
Absolutely. So, Marbeth, would you like to talk about how we can reach those 10 million? Um,
Oh, absolutely.
I will be right back.
Okay. So one of our collaborators has suggested that if one of us tells 10 people they commit, and each of those people 10 tells 10 people and they commit, and each of those people tells 10 people and they commit, after 8 iterations, we'll have 10 million. So it
right.
doesn't sound so hard when you do it that way.
Well, I know I've done things like that, and it's good to have ways to think about it and make it seem like it's going to be easy. But the challenge, of course, is what you're really asking people to commit to, and how do you really manage that kind of network of commitments so that people have the support they need. That's awareness plus commitment is what makes change. So what are you asking people to commit to?
Well, we're asking them to sign up on our website, which is 10 million for world peace. And when they do, they'll receive a beautiful meditation by TERI,
Okay.
and yeah, on accessing their inner peace. And in addition, they can share. We have a share page where they can follow us on social media. They can share. We have I think, several memes up there. We have emails and newsletter paragraphs that they can share out to their tribe. And if they would like to introduce us to other people that might be helpful, we're here for that. And or bring us on a podcast or even make a little video to tell people, okay, this I love this project and that's why I'm here. So yeah, one of our followers, Deidre Kozlowski, who's out here right now, she did a beautiful video, and I know that it was out of her comfort zone, and she did it, and it's posted up on our page. Um, we're not on every social media. We are on YouTube and on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So wouldn't it be nice if we
Yeah.
just go viral?
Right. Okay. So here's how I've seen that can happen. Okay. So part of the magic in all this is the power of trust. So the SINE Network we call trusted sharing. So Summer and I, we're admins on hundreds of Facebook pages, as an example.
Oh,
So, right, maybe you haven't heard about this. They're called sine waves. So when a member goes live, we can turn their live stream into a sine wave by sharing it on multiple pages.
Yeah,
Now,
very familiar with that.
relevant here because see, you don't have to be on every platform. That's why the vision of One World is these interconnected communities that are uniting to make a synergized global impact. But if you get the commitment made for those folks who can disseminate it to their audience, maybe onto platforms you're not. So yes, it's a combination of you want to meet people where they're at and be on those platforms like you mentioned. But then you want to also partner with those who are present on the other platforms as well. And then orchestrate really as a campaign, as opposed to a one-off event that includes a series of different communications that are flowing from you and then from your partners. And this is the kind of new practice we call these patterns of uplift. How are we creating these kind of agreements with each other? See, SINE is a proof of concept of the power of trusted sharing.
that's beautiful.
Yeah, and that's an example of how you can begin to use that platform. That's what we mean by an impact hub. That's what we want it to be for dreams like yours. Because if not, they just become really beautiful ideas that never catch hold. And what is it, that magic that gets people to commit and actually gets them to remember to do it and follow through on doing it and report back that they did it? And that's the new frontier for how we need to be with each other to make those dreams come true.
It's
Sure,
all
we
about
need
collaboration. Yeah.
collaboration and holding people accountable just to do what they say they're going to do.
Right, in a loving way. In a loving way. We got to make it worth it to them to do it. We got to make it so that, of course I want to do that. And because the video that gets made, or you're going to bring, maybe people invite their family members to come into a Zoom together and all right, here's a good example. Okay. So Dr. Tamsin Willie Barker is leading this course on a radical collaboration by teaming up. So, with AI, you do these prompts. It's called a prompt. She did one with us. This is a human prompt. This has nothing to do with AI, but follow the logic of this. So there's a phrase. So because I believe, then you'll fill in the blank. Because I believe, I am called to. That's my role in this. In a way that's our values. So that this is the result. So like for me, I'm just going to make it up. Because I believe that working for peace is the most important thing for us to be doing. I am called to build an impact hub that can empower other peacemakers in the world in a way that's authentic and inspiring and transparent and powerful so that we can see peace on earth by 2030. Try it.
We did, Jon.
Do it right now. Let's do it right now. Just make one up right now.
I was in that meeting and I brought it back and shared it with Marbeth and our team.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Share it with me and the world. Let's, that's the kind of empowerment, right? That helps us see things in ways that give us more clarity and strength. So I'd love to hear it. Tell me about the 10 million. So because I believe,
Beth, do you want to take a shot at it?
I can try. I didn't actually do the exercise, so it's going to be interesting.
perfect. It's perfect.
Okay.
So because I believe,
That world peace is possible.
mm, I am called to,
I'm called to I'm called to lead a movement to create it.
in a way that,
Reaches more and more people, 10 million people,
so that,
so that we can have a peaceful, happy planet together.
thank you for that. There you
Let's
go.
get the audience doing it too. So I typed in because I believe, and John, share the rest of it, please.
I am called to. So because I believe, you fill in the blank. This is kind of like Mad Libs for adults now.
Right.
Because I believe,
I love it.
I am called to, that's your role in what system, in a way that, that's your values. That's what the way you want to be in the world, how you believe is important. So that this is the outcome. Now, I'll tell you, I think our time spent talking with each other like that makes a difference. That's upgrading our capacity to be together and empower each other. And this is what I'm striving for in these patterns of uplift, and what SINE is looking to pioneer together is find these ways of bringing that forth in us.
Yeah. So I want the audience to play along. You all fill in the blanks and let us know. And Jean L'Oreal, thank you for sharing that. So because I believe that we are all pure love at heart,
Mhm.
I am called to shine my light as a magnet to others in a way that they are uplifted and can see their value so that we can all live in a world that works for all of us.
Mm.
Beautiful, Terry.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
That's worth getting up for.
yeah, it is.
My daughter sent me an image of the Care Bears going back to the 80s and 90s, and they were shining the light right out of their hearts. And I think we need to get some of those memes up on our page.
Do everything helps. Visuals really help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's what led to the compassion games, this kind of survival of the kindest.
Let's talk about that. Yeah,
Well, we've
I
been
love
really fortunate after that meeting in 2008 with the Dalai Lama and the Seeds of Compassion. A couple things grew out of that. We started the Compassionate Cities movement. Seattle became the first city, and we got a bunch of hundreds of cities around the world. But one city was amazing, was Louisville, Kentucky, and their mayor, Greg Fisher, who came to Seattle, went home and wrote me a letter claiming that they were the most compassionate city in the world and would be so till proven otherwise.
Oh,
And
I
he
love
said,
that.
he said they were so compassionate, they'd come out to Seattle to help us beat them. So, wow, we're going to have to really get our game up. Well, we
Ah,
came up with a creative, and millions of people have played compassiongames.org. And in fact, we're blessed that the U.S. government supports our work through the AmeriCorps and Martin Luther King's Day of Service. And every year now for 5 years, we've been able to give away $150,000 to support groups that are really doing the work of social justice and building a beloved community
Mm.
with love and compassion.
I shared it out with the mayor here of Coral Springs, where I live, but I didn't hear anything back. So I don't know
I
if
know.
you
I
might
know.
reach out. Yeah.
But is there anything more meaningful right now than for us to learn how to heal from this incredible divide? I mean, let's be
No, this is crucial. But I do believe that by what we're doing is not only are we focusing on world peace. I had a peace experiment in 2018, and
right.
it was 7 minutes a day to world peace. I did it myself, and had about 350 people who signed up. I just wanted to see if we could have, well, actually, I woke up one morning and I was basically told, you're going to do this. So, so I did. And so we had about 350 people signed up. On a good day, we might have had 75 or 100 people on a live meditation over Facebook. Did it for 6 months. We had independent statistics that showed the level of violence we focused on the Middle East because I knew we could get independent statistics, and we are going to get independent statistics for our upcoming challenge. But it showed that the level of violence dropped over 20% during the period of this peace experiment. And so, what we're doing this time is that we're focusing on world leaders, and we're focusing on local leaders, we're focusing on city councils, we're focusing all the way up to the national leaders
Right.
so that we can focus peace
Mm.
and love and happiness and appreciation on them, and so and with the intention that they'll lead with more awareness, and they will make more collaborative decisions. So that's really the purpose of our 3 weeks of 21-day 7-minute meditations.
Wow. Wow. Well, so have you been tracking like David Gershon's Peace on Earth by 2030? That's another natural
Yeah.
partner for you guys, right?
David was my mentor about 12 years ago. I went to the Empowerment Institute with him and Gail Straub.
Yep. Yep.
And yeah, so he was the first person that we interviewed. We're doing a series that will run the same time as our 21 days of World Peace Challenge. And so he was the first interview.
Fabulous. Well, okay. So since we're all working so close to each other here, right? We want to make a synergized impact. This is the tales of synergy from the Magic Canoe,
So,
And a couple things to honor what you're saying, Marbeth. And I really appreciate the thing about the statistics and everything and numbers. We need to honor that there are different ways of looking at change, right? And how it happens. But I want to just put a word in. Someone said this the other day. Kirk Johnson repeated this. Someone said that all magic is local.
hmm.
And the reason why I say that is because we know the invisible is really more important than the visible.
Yeah, absolutely.
And nevertheless, we live in a world in which what exists is what we can measure, what we say in our letters and numbers, right? So it's fusing these worlds seems to be what's happening in our time. Increasingly, the world of spirit and the world of science are seeing there's such a deep connection there that it's an illusion of this separation. That's why it's one world,
Yeah.
because it's to include all of that.
That's so true. It's so true, John. And both Terry and I, we've been studying A Course in Miracles. I've studied it for almost 40 years. And of course, I'm very much aware that we are all one beautiful self,
Right, right.
united with our Creator. This is who we are. So I love that, yes, the change happens on the invisible level, but it would be really nice to be able to share it with others so that they can be more inclined to participate in events like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to ask the question, what does it matter if I'm angry or if I'm out there, raising hell out in the world? What does it matter to anybody else but me? And it does matter because we see the frequency of the planet being tracked by places like HeartMath and showing us that when more of us are showing compassion and love and respect and honor for each other, the numbers raise. They can actually track that the frequency of our planet is uplifted when we do that. So it does matter because all of us are putting our energy into that collective soup. And it's either going to rise up or it's going to go down. And I want to see it rising as high as it can rise.
Absolutely.
Patricia, Ann Davis, a Navajo medicine woman, says it's intrapersonal holiness for interpersonal wholeness.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Right? It's that self-regulation and for co-regulation, and starting from within,
Mm-hmm.
in a circle, in a sacred manner, we heal and develop ourselves, our relationships in the world. So we have all the guiding principles and knowledge. It's now an age in which our being is what we need to build our capacity to be present, to attune, and be a committed listener. That you'll see in this paper. This is what AI doesn't care, but you do. And
Right.
commitment to care is what keeps us present and keeps us thinking in clear ways to do the things that need to get done now. I'm very much focused on change and patterns. Tamsin says that the situations are caused by patterns.
Mm-hmm.
Patterns are caused by the relationships. So if we change our relationships, our agreements, we could change the patterns. And those new patterns can lead to a new situation. So that's kind of the path. That's why I'm grateful for the chance to hear about the work, support the work, get people committing, get people sharing those commitments, and discovering together what it's going to take for us to turn it around. I mean, if we don't change our direction, we'll wind up where we're headed. So I'm really grateful for this chance to share what we're doing together and to also know more about the specific effort in terms of reaching 10 million people committed.
I so agree. Marbeth, do you want to read Jean Lorio's Because I Believe?
Yes. Jean Lorio, because I believe that peace is an action word, I am not just going to participate in the daily meditation, but help as many as I can learn about this event so that they too can take action. We can do this together as one.
Oh my God, there you go.
So
Thank you,
gorgeous.
Jean.
There you go. That's it. That's the kind of stuff we want to be. I call this a prosperacy. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a prosperacy. There's a bunch of people that are committed to peace on earth by 2030. Okay. And these are the pro social media. The stories, the tales of synergy from the Magic Canoe are all about us writing that story together and nurturing these caring relationships. That's going to make the difference. That's what I'm betting on.
Mm-hmm.
I can feel it. You know how blessed I am. I'm married to the most amazing person in the world.
Miss Summer Joy.
Oh my!
Oh, I finally got to meet her.
I met her playing the compassion game. So I tell every guy, compassion's been good to me.
That's so cool. Yeah, we met her. I met her on Liz Williams' Awe event.
Amazing. Liz is unbelievable. We got to be in Chicago, and I mean, they'd worked together for like 2 years before they ever saw each other. Then we got a beautiful hug and time together. I know the world is being made manifest by these actions and these intentions.
Yeah.
So deep bows to you both and everyone on your team. We're teaming up.
We are teaming up. Yeah, that's what it's all about. It's working together instead of trying to be out there and thinking you're the lone dog. There's a whole pack that we're teaming up with, and
Right, right.
we're getting it done.
Well, it's really true, though, Terry, what you're saying. That's part of what I've noticed. So many of the folks who gain the insight of what they need to do with their lives are doing it alone.
Mm-hmm.
Left to our own devices, I've seen that again and again and again. It's going against the swept along way of doing things that we are. We are creating new patterns. We say in SINE, we spruce. Speak your truth with love and compassion.
Right.
And
Oh, I love that.
transparency, accountability, and integrity become vital. We got to rebuild truth in this world and take responsibility for what that means.
Yes.
Kind of lost our way.
Yes, yes, we have. But you know what I think is that when there's chaos, it enables new pathways. So that's where we are right now. It is kind of a chaotic situation all over the world, but at the same time, we can lead our way into a whole new paradigm, a paradigm of love and kindness, and really focus on sharing peace and happiness with each other. and not focus on any of the differences, but focus on what unifies us.
Yeah.
Right. That's right.
And we're seeing that. I really believe we're ushering in this era of peace. I really do. And Marbeth, I don't know if you want to talk about Nostradamus and his prediction.
I would love
I'd like to
to.
share that.
Yeah. So we all have heard of Nostradamus and all of his dire predictions that have happened. He predicted these over like 400 years ago in the 1500s. And in the 1980s, there was a woman named Dolores Cannon who did past life regression. She's very well known. I had not heard of her before one of our team members forwarded a video to me of her speaking on her work with Nostradamus. She had a client who had a past life, as she discovered, with Nostradamus. She was one of his students at the time in the 1500s. And so when Dolores took her back and she recorded the calls and took copious notes, and she was very, very dedicated as a therapist, but also, just she really wanted to make sure everything that she recorded was accurate. And so after a few months, the woman was back, had taken her back into Nostradamus's studio when he walked in and said, I want to talk to her. So there he was in the 1500s talking to Dolores Cannon in the 1980s.
Wow.
And yeah, and he said, my work has been misinterpreted. It's really important work. I want to make sure that it's clear. So she worked with him for 3 years through different people, different clients. And he restated all of his predictions, but he also said, my predictions are awful. But if you make it through the 90s, in the 2000s, your minds can join together and you can create peace that will last 1,000 years. So,
All right. Wow. Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Well, okay. This super intelligence that's here is our minds coming together. There is no question that that's
agreed.
what's. I mean, I've worked with this enough and for long enough to understand that, seeing it made manifest. The good news is that the creativity, the ability for us to imagine and operate and grow up, and be this next level is really the frontier. It's the frontier of that kind of sensibility and awareness of being, because the quote minds. Now, mind itself is a word that lives in language. No one's ever seen a mind.
Right.
The brain surgeons, right? The power of language is a big part of what I think we're going to wake up to, and that I wrote about in this whole language action perspective on things. That we live in language. I'm here because I made a promise to be here.
Mhm.
A teacher once asked me this really good question. I didn't know the answer to. He says, "Why are dogs never late?"
Hmm.
They don't make promises.
Yeah.
And we live in a world where we've made it up a particular way, and we could make it up another way.
Yeah.
Like the entire economic system is all made up by agreement.
Right.
The indigenous people would say to me, "Well, before there was money, there was enough for everybody."
This is true.
But we've built these complex systems, and now we need to rethink them. I think that's the power of this age. It's going to force us to pause, really take seriously what is it to be a human being at this time, and how are we going to make the changes that need to be made. So, deep bows to everybody.
Absolutely. And you know what I love about the fact that we are diligently working toward a more peaceful world and bringing in that aspect now. Because indigenous people teach us that whatever we're doing in our lifetime affects 7 generations going forward. So if we're bringing in this peace, we're ushering in that 1,000 years of peace, as Nostradamus predicted. I see that it's going forward to our children and our children's children and spreading out those generations. So just think about that. This isn't just for us right now here on the earth plane.
Right.
This is the future. This is those who will come after us long after we're gone. And what are we leaving as a legacy for them? Let's leave them a legacy of peace.
Yep.
And,
Yep.
yeah,
Amen.
I see it happening.
Yeah. You know, I once heard it's a song, but here are the words. It says, "When you were born, you cried, and the world rejoiced. Live your life so that when you die, the world cries and you rejoice."
Oh, I love that.
It's beautiful.
And that's what you're right. I mean, we're only here for a short time.
Mhm.
Those of us who get the message that now's the time to awaken and remember and start to live into these values in a way that can leave a pattern, new ways of operating, new ways of doing things. I look back on some smoking sections on airplanes. What were we thinking?
No.
Lobotomies, bloodletting, killing each other. I would love to one day say, "Oh my God, can you believe it? People used to settle their differences by killing each other. That was great. What were they thinking? We
Yeah.
need to advance forward and do better. We could do better.
Yes.
It starts here. I,
Let's
I,
do better. I love that.
I gotta. It's gotta. In fact, my shirt says "Healing Our Spirit Worldwide." This was a
Oh,
gathering in Australia. Summer and I went to summer night a few years ago. So maybe so.
wonderful. Oh, what else would you like to share?
Now, have you had enough? I mean, I don't want to.
Oh, well, no, he's asking what
No,
else you want to
no.
share with us.
There's so much going on. So many
So
amazing people.
when someone goes to oneworld.earth,
Yep.
what can they expect to see there?
Okay. It's a little bit different. We're calling this an impact hub.
Okay.
So people are uniting interconnected communities because part of the reality is all these different platforms. We don't want to create more silos. So a synergized impact, which is what the hub is, it's a network exchange, or we're social innovators coming, declaring missions, things they're working on, like the one you've declared. And then there are these convergences online happening annually throughout the year. So Peace Week is coming in September. We just finished World Unity Week in June. So with the equinox and the changing, on September 21st, the International Day of Peace. So there's a convergence. Imagine 25, maybe 50 Zoom meetings going on simultaneously with social innovators bringing their work forward, and plenary sessions where we all come together, very much like in a physical conference, right? But done online using a platform that we've built over time. It's really empowering. People can come and present, or people can come and steward a room on a particular topic they care about. We have a hub where you can go if you need help. Like I need help right now. Hold on, you. So, One World is this place for these convergences, like Enlightening Our Way Together happens in December, Indigenous led, and then Martin Luther King in January. So we're converging online, but also empowering each other by actually taking these kind of programs like Tamsin's leadership on teaming up. I mean, her book, Teaming Up, TEEMING, she is the Jane Goodall of this generation. Her book was considered one of the 5 most important business books of our century by the founder of YPO. And it's about nature and biomimicry. She was the first person to get a master's degree in biomimicry. So it's really, she says we're ant-like apes. We're not living like that. And we don't realize what is inherently human. That's where we got to sort all this stuff out, because even worse than white supremacy is human supremacy. And this idea that we're above nature and nature is ours to turn into resources. And we've been thinking that way for a long time. She's featured in a film, The Endangered Generation, which is amazing. And so anyway, there's lots of social innovators, David Gershon, we mentioned, that are putting forward their missions with the idea that together we can team up. We can figure out how to take what we have, turn it into what we need. And that comes from honest conversation amongst different partners and creating these new agreements with each other. Like you guys invited me in here. I didn't even know about the P podcast, but we can now get the word out and things like
Well,
that.
we hope you'll also join us on our Imagine Peace series that will be streaming over World Peace, all the 21 days of World Peace.
Well, okay, that 21-day mission, right? Is definitely that's different than the 10 million, right? Maybe you need
This
another
is our 10
It
million.
is our 10 million.
same thing. Okay, so that 21-day period is definitely one that we should craft and make sure you're using the hub in a way that's most supportive.
We would
And
love that.
We
in
would love
advance
that.
of the first, you should get the word out about it. There's like a Unity Earth call tomorrow too that we do on Wednesdays, and lots of ways to get the word out.
Yeah, we would love that. Yeah, but the Imagine Peace are going to be short interviews that we do with people, and we'll be showing those throughout that 21 days.
And we would love to interview you.
Absolutely.
Just
You
10 or 15 minutes. It's all. But just enough to give people a real good taste of who you are.
Got it. You know what? Hey, people are going to have trouble going to with the www. I just tried it here. I was worried.
Okay.
Try HTTPS. Hold on. That makes it a secure connection. So if anyone really tried to go there, and I hope they do,
Okay.
the link that I'll drop it in the oneworld.earth. We'll get them there.
So no www. Okay.
Yeah, no www. Like that.
Oops.
Yeah, I've been on the site and it's very exciting.
It really is. People are showing up, and it takes devotion and commitment, like all these things, right?
Everything does.
Call them ninja gardeners that really are there to care for people and make people help them when they're stuck. That's why we have the hub. Here you belong, where you can go at any time. And people, that'll work. That'll work.
Okay. All right. And I put this comment up that Carrie made. Hi, Carrie. I'm so excited I get to see Miss Carrie in Tennessee.
I love that.
She said, resonate. It's like strumming a guitar. An open chord becomes one accord. I love that.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing. We're all playing that guitar, right?
Right. And okay, and that's an interesting metaphor, right? Because we may not all be using the same tuning when you start.
Right.
We have to. There's a coherence. There's building our shared understanding, and that takes commitment to care enough to listen and learn. And maybe someone has a whole new way of playing. And how do we accompany each other? It's a really good metaphor. I've learned so much from music about that.
Mm-hmm. Music's such a big part of bringing us all together, too. And John, I just love what you all have done with what is it that you call it, where you have a music that's playing that's just so beautiful and it brings you right, drops you right into your heart.
The transformances, yeah. That's
Performances. I love it. We'll be seeing more of that during Peace Week, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, no, I do them every day, usually on calls because that's all pause. I mean, the power of a pause.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm saying these disruptions that are going on right now can turn into powerful opportunities if we use them to pause.
Yes.
And realize that we've reached a place where we really don't know what to do.
Yeah. But we're figuring it out. Like Ram Dass says, walking each other home.
The thing is this. Otto Scharmer said, who I love and admire, that we're very well organized to produce results that nobody wants. So like Dr. King was saying, you got those who love peace need to learn to organize as effectively as those who love war. And that's a big leap forward. We're so in silos, and that's not wrong, but it's just a condition, right? And then figuring out how we have the trust to make ourselves transparent enough so we can see what we have, so we can know your interests and understand your values and understand, we connect through our similarity and innovate through our diversity. And we don't have to all agree on everything. Alignment's not the same as agreement. And we could use what we have to get what we want. We can do that. It's just we're not used to doing that.
we just need to find our shared paths together. We don't, just work on what it is that we share with each other, and rather than looking for conflict, which is, I think, what's been happening now. People are looking for conflict and magnifying it into
Yeah.
something it doesn't need to be.
Well, it's worse. I'll tell you what it is. They're making money on our conflict. These
Mhm.
AI algorithms behind the media,
Mhm.
it's, they want us addicted to these platforms. Every time you're clicking, I do have Trump derangement syndrome. I hope they're happy. It's eaten up so much of my life because I thought I should be a concerned citizen. And therefore, there's advertising dollars. All of us have become commodities that are being traded by these profit motivated companies.
Yeah.
That's what Facebook and Twitter and Google, these companies, that's what their responsibility is to their shareholders. And they know how to tweak those algorithms just so you keep, scrolling on the stuff and the content. They know what to put in front of you, keep you hooked. And that's
Yeah,
our current world. That doesn't mean they're bad people, but that's the game, right? We should know what the
that's the
game
game.
we're in.
And that's what mainstream media has been doing for
Always.
years.
It stopped being about the truth. When that woman got away with saying there are alternative facts, ooh, no, no, that's falsehoods. And if we lose the very basis of truth and responsibility, then we're doomed. And that's why I go back to that in this paper that we've written, that we've got to restore our integrity.
That's it. And that's what we're working so hard toward. Is
Yes.
honesty, integrity, respect for each other. We really have to get back to that first and foremost. We have
It
to
starts
see
right
each
here.
other.
It
Yeah.
starts right here. That's all. We can know each other, and together we build our own, it's these kind of echo chambers that we're all in.
Mhm.
So if we can find what's not, that's why I call it a prospiracy. Let's say we had a prospiracy to
I
do
love
really good in the world, and all of us are connecting in that space to make things better, not buy into the where the mainstream has swept us along into a situation that's just tearing us apart, our families, our communities. You can't even just even to bring up Trump is like, oh my God, don't say it. However you feel about it, okay, I don't care how you feel. It's okay. It's all right. However you feel. Boy, that is really. And I grew up in New York, so I knew Donald Trump. Not personally, but I knew that mentality, that kind of winner take all. Everything's about me. So I've been watching this, and I feel my heart breaks for the people who really believe in him, as well as for the people that are really feel threatened by him. I can't imagine someone could be indicted and still be the leading candidate from a party. That is transformation. That is unbelievable. It should be considered unbelievable. We should be able to say it's unbelievable. Even the people that are supporting him got to admit it's unbelievable. How could that
Well,
be?
they feel he's being victimized.
I know they feel that but he's not. That's the way the facts are.
I
See,
know.
to the truth. What happened to people saying, no, you can't just keep repeat things and it's a lie. If I say it again and again, eventually you're just going to believe it. Do I think you're that stupid? Well, apparently we are. And that's really frightening. That's why I say, we've got to come together.
Yep. And I feel like that's why our mission is so important, to really focus energy to our world leaders, not just the
Right.
world leaders, but to all leaders, whether it's of a nation, a local government, a school board, whatever it might be, those that are making decisions.
Maybe even leaders of business.
Yes.
I know. And all these people who volunteer to help with the elections, those are the good citizens in our community. They're the ones who suffered so much through this. That's terrible. We don't want that. We don't make it that if you care about your community, you're, corrupt, or you run the risk of being somehow targeted. That is nutty. We're really not doing the
Really
right.
awful.
That's why I'm doing this with such passion, right? Because I said, this is serious, guys. I used to think there was adult supervision. When I was a kid, I imagined there was a group of adults somewhere that must be here to make sure we really wouldn't blow the whole thing.
Oh, we're the adults.
We
Wow.
are the adults.
I guess it is us. I guess
It's up to us.
thought. That's a frightening thought.
Yeah.
But I'm doing my best. I'm willing to be corrected. I'm willing to be, I can hear feedback. I get it. I'm open. I want to be vulnerable. Patricia says authenticity grants authority.
Yeah, absolutely. And all we can do is just keep giving love.
Yes,
Love is what heals. That's what's going to change things, not any resistance or fights. It's going to be coming together in a peaceful way.
that's right. They say justice is love in public.
Hmm. Absolutely. Oh, well, my friend, this has been awesome and amazing. And look at that. We're at the top of the hour almost. So, John, I'd just like to ask if there's anything else you want to share. I want to encourage people to visit this website, oneworld.earth, see what all the buzz is about, and find out. Maybe there's something that attracts you if you as you go to the website and you want to know more information about it. So, John, if there's anything you want to share, and leaving us with a very word of hope and inspiration is what I'm hearing.
Well, thank you. I'm really grateful. Sharing what we're up to with each other and with the people that have faith in us and are listening to us, that's a blessing and a gift. I really do think we're better together. And that's why I'm here and that's why I'm there if you want me. So if there's any way we could be supportive, I love that we're talking about the work you're doing. And people can come and connect up with that as well as discover so much more. So there's nothing but gratitude and appreciation. Thank you both for the efforts you're making and for making space for us to share what we're doing with you. May it be so. I mean, if not now, when? If not us, who? Right? So
That's right.
peace
Absolutely.
is help. May
Yeah,
peace be strong.
I heard years ago it's no longer sitting on the couch and waiting for somebody else to do it. This is the time to get out there, feet on the ground, and
But it feels so much better to be doing it. When
yeah,
you're sitting there wondering, oh my gosh, look at all these awful things that are going on, and you're not doing anything, it feels awful. It really does. But when you start to gather a group together who are doing something, we can, our minds are so powerful. When
mhm,
we unite our minds with other minds into that beautiful field of love and peace and miracles, the unified field, that's when miracles happen.
yeah,
Yes. Yes.
absolutely.
Yep.
Oh,
That's
well, I
right.
want to thank everybody who joined in today. You've been a wonderful audience. Thank you for participating. And those that sentence that we put earlier with the blanks, I encourage you all to fill in those blanks, even if you don't share it with anybody. Share it with yourself. Because I believe blank, I am called to blank in a way that blank, so that, and just see what comes forth. Don't try to force it, just let the words flow. And let's get more visionaries out here joining in the cause and bringing in more peace on earth. John, I really appreciate you joining in with us and giving us your time and your beautiful energy today. Marbeth, as always, thank you. You're in my heart every minute of every day. Love you so much.
Love you, Terry.
All right, so next week we have a special guest who will talk to us about labyrinths. So that's going to
Oh,
be,
is it Ellen?
it is Ellen.
Oh, I'm gonna miss it.
Yeah, well, you can catch the replay at any time.
Okay.
So thank you again. Stay in your hearts and stay blessed. And namaste, y'all. Bye, everyone.